welcome to the March episode of Sweet 301. I'm Sandy Sanderson. To my right, Christian Smith, coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we're here to talk about all the latest happenings around all our Cold Club sports leagues. Be sure to watch our broadcast on our Sweet 301 channel on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on YouTube as well.
And also remember to like our Facebook pages and follow our Twitter accounts for all the latest news and media. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel for videos around our leagues and watch previous episodes of Sweet 301.
We got a great show for you today. We got some very special guests. We're going to have a caller live, Garrett from Tampa, Florida, at the Spring Training Showcase. We're also going to be joined by reps from Florida State Club Softball, Drexel Women's Club Basketball, and UMass Lowell Men's Club Basketball. So we got a full lineup for the show today. We're glad you have joined us this afternoon. So that said, let's get to some baseball action. Let's get Garrett on the let's get Garrett involved. Garrett's our interim director of spring training operations, and he's going to be coming to us live from Tampa, Florida.
We hope.
We hope. Maybe the internet's down in Tampa. Well, let's jump over to. Tell you what, let's slide over to D1.
Yeah,
get some
sounds
D1
like a plan.
Baseball recaps or updates, and let's bring to the set Eric Curator.
What's up, guys?
Eric, what's going on?
How we doing?
Good. Welcome to Suite 301, Director of Division I Baseball Operations. Tell you what, let's give us a recap of this past weekend. There's always exciting stuff going on. Give us a recap of what happened last weekend.
Yeah, so season's in full swing, obviously. Started February 1st, so we've had at least 4 or 5 weeks of action to recap and look forward to. This past week, Week 15, March 2nd through the 8th, Texas Tech took 2 of 3 from number 11 Baylor, which left Texas Tech 8-1 in the conference, and Baylor at 9-3. They're going to play each other again just because it's a 4-team conference, but that's obviously a big head-to-head result for a conference series. Number 13 Florida beat number 8 Ohio State 2-0 down in Tampa. Shout out to Austin Appel, 5 innings, 0 runs, 0 hits, 1 walk, 11 Ks. Kid's legit. He's been 2-time National Pitcher of the Week already.
What's his name?
Austin Appel.
From
Florida.
Gators.
Yeah, I got a feeling he's probably going to win that again tomorrow. So it's pretty good. Just moving down the list, Nevada took 2 of 3 from number 6 Oregon State, non-conference series. It's nice to see teams, traveling out, playing some non-conference games, get your resume up a little bit. San Diego State took 2 of 3 from number 5 Grand Canyon, which is a conference series, so that's a big deal for the SoPac. Grand Canyon, number 5 team in the country, so it's nice for San Diego State.
Back-to-back World Series appearances for.
Yeah, semifinalist
last year.
If I think. And San Diego State obviously won D2, I think, 3 years ago. So it's nice to see them competing up at the Division I level. And then lastly, Texas State swept number 10 Texas in a conference series. Anybody who's paid attention to our polls noticed Texas jumped all the way to number 10 from being not ranked, got a first-place vote, and then got swept this past weekend. So
that Gulf Coast is the craziest region, I think, in the entire country. I never know what to do. It seems like they all just – it's great because it's the parity's there, but it's just everybody beats up on each other, and once you think you have it all figured out, then that happens.
Yeah, I had Texas. What they've done up until this past weekend has been so impressive, especially where they came from last season, and then Texas State.
Last couple of seasons, actually.
Yeah, really, the last couple of seasons, and there was questions about whether they should move down, and then they go on this roll, and Texas State put a little stomp on that, I guess.
Yeah, there's some crazy parity going on down there. Who knows what's going to happen next week and the next month and a half before regionals, but I thought that was a pretty telling statistic right there that Texas State came in and swept number 10 Texas. So,
all right. Well, let's get away from the past. Let's talk about the future. What's going on with Eric's games to watch?
Yeah, so Week 16, number 8 Ohio State playing Virginia Tech. I think that's today. Virginia Tech's number 18. They were another team that shot up from not ranked to the rank, top 20.
Right.
So that's a big game to watch. Number 1, Illinois kicks off their season against UCF this coming weekend. Illinois is the defending champ. UCF, usual powerhouse down in South Atlantic, so that should be a good game.
Excited to see how Illinois, we've been looking at them for a while and not played any games, nothing to gauge them against. So excited to see how they do first game out of the shoot.
Yeah, and I don't know how you guys handle your polls, but it's always tricky when a team is number 1 for 3-4 straight polls and they haven't played a game. So you need some need some data. You need to get some games played.
And UCF's no joke. I mean, that's going to be a tough team to open up against.
Yeah. So
I know Illinois got a lot of arms, at least from coming back from last year, their national championship team. So, should be a very good game.
Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, I had number 6 Oregon State takes on Eastern Washington in a conference series. They were not in the same conference last year, but they ended up playing in the regional playoff championship, and Oregon State double-dipped Eastern Washington last year.
So Eastern Washington was one win away from the World Series.
Got double-dipped by Oregon State. Now they're in the same conference this year, and their conference series is this weekend. So.
Okay, so should be some good, exciting baseball. 2 good weekends for Oregon State. 2 good opponents for them.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Well, let's dive. You mentioned the top 20 poll. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, as we were touching on earlier, there was a lot of shakeups. I believe, let's count, 6 teams jumped into the top 20 for the first time. University of Illinois got 12 votes, staying at number 1. As we were saying earlier, they open up their season this coming weekend, so be on the lookout for that. East Carolina in the 2 spot, getting 7 first-place votes, and then Texas in the 10 spot, getting the other first-place vote. It's been pretty consistent up top with Florida State. Windsor's usually been around, Grand Canyon, Oregon State, UC Santa Barbara, Ohio State, and South Carolina, rounding out the top 10. But you see those 6 teams who jumped up. Pitt State took 2 out of 3 from Iowa a week ago in a non-conference series in the Mid-America. They jumped in. Florida jumped in after a couple strong performances, a couple good weekends. Baylor, South Carolina has been beating everybody this year, and as we touched on earlier, Texas too. So, yeah, a lot of crazy results the first couple weeks. I didn't even touch on Virginia Tech jumping into the 18th spot there.
Hokies. All right. Well, congratulations to South Carolina. That's a lot of respect coming fast, and that's the way it works. You win your games on the field, people are going to start paying attention and give you the kudos you deserve. Now, at the same, there's a little bit of a target on your back once you start making that much noise. People might rearrange their pitching staff, their strategy of when they're going to play you. So there could be some changes there. But
and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of changes in the next one, which is in a week and a half. So next poll, that is, top 20 poll.
Well, how about let's talk about any D1 housekeeping items you want to discuss?
The 2 big things really is just your rosters, your academic letters, and with that comes the roster freeze, which is April 15th. I know that's a month away, but just keep it in your back pocket to think about. You cannot add anyone after that date, no matter what the circumstances are. We allow no exceptions to that. So keep an eye on your roster, check it twice, check it in April, definitely the 14th, just to see what's going on, who's not on there, who should be on there, any discrepancies. Come ask us. We can work through it with you, but nothing after that date. That's a big one.
Okay. All right. Well, let's, since we've got you on here, you're our D1 baseball guru. The rest of our baseball staff is really down in Florida. I understand you've got some notes, some recaps for us on the Division II level.
Sure. Yeah. So Week 15 in Division II, number 9 Ohio State over Florida D2 10-3, and Xavier 7-2. Florida and Xavier, typically very good teams at the Division II level. Same with Ohio State, obviously because they're ranked number 9. So those are 2 good wins for them. Brand new team Oklahoma swept number 16 Oklahoma State in a conference series. I was pretty shocked to see that. Oklahoma State's been very good the last couple of years in Division II. Oklahoma's a brand new team, correct?
Yes, brand new.
So
they're brand new. They're in Division II though.
Yep, brand new team to the NCBA first year, and to sweep a team of Oklahoma State stature, I think that's very telling for them.
That had to be a big rivalry game going into
so,
it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a lot of kids that played high school to get ball together probably on those teams.
Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, number 12 Penn State over former D1 top 5 Maryland 11-5. So that's a big one in itself right there.
Wait, so Penn State D2
number 12
Maryland beat D1.
Correct. Maryland, if you guys have been paying attention, it was in the top 5 in the poll for at least 3 weeks. Just dropped out for the first time, but I mean they were in the top 5 for
and they went to the World Series last year and looked really good.
Yep.
All right. So, well, how about why don't you present us Garrett's games to watch for this coming weekend at the D2?
He gave me one, and it's a big one. Number 4 Temple versus number 12 in Division I Drexel. So apparently not a lot of teams playing this week just because of spring break. A lot of teams going down to Tampa. But this is the one he circled, and 2 Philly teams going at it. Number 12 in Division I versus number 4 in Division II.
When they're playing in Tampa, or they're playing.
I think they're
Philly?
playing in Philly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Now let's move on to the D2 top 20. What's the new
that over here?
Giddy up in that department.
Air Force at number 1. They got 8 first place votes. West Virginia at number 2 with 2 first place votes.
Basically flip flop positions there.
Yep, essentially. Buffalo stayed at the 3 spot. They got a first place vote. Temple moved up a little bit. They also got a first-place vote. Cortland stayed in the 5 spot with their first-place vote. Wisconsin and North Dakota were the other 2 teams with first-place votes, too. Big moves, I guess. Houston downtown, jumped into the top 20, not ranked before. Stanford jumped in at 19 and Florida Tech at 20. So not a whole lot of movement, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more in the next one, which comes out Thursday, I believe. So it'll be something to keep our eyes on.
Hey, shout out to Cortland. I mean, their club sports department must be doing something right over there because they're kicking butt in men's and women's basketball. Really doing some good stuff over there. So good luck to Cortland. So, all right. Well, I think that any D2 housekeeping items to
I think it's
recap?
going to be the same really across the board for all NCBA teams. Just
Okay.
get your roster freeze. 2 big ones for you.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's see. We'll keep it right here. Let's go move on to some D3 action.
Week 15, Marist beat Division II Hofstra 11-6 and 4-3. It's always nice to see a Division III team beat a Division II team. Is Marist first year? I'm not sure off the top of my head.
I don't believe so, no.
Either way, Division III team beat a Division II team. And then the last one he gave me was Stony Brook split with Division II Montclair State. They won 7-2, and they lost a tight one 2-1. So very competitive games. They even came out on top in a game too. So shout out to Stony Brook.
All right, good stuff. How about Tom's games to watch this coming weekend?
He made note of Oakland at Flint, University of Michigan Flint. Oakland is tied for first, and Flint's first ever games in the NCBA. So it'll be a nice test for him. Welcome to the NCBA, and obviously Oakland's doing all the right things so far, being in first place at the moment. Another one that he made a note of is Edinboro, Michigan Tech. They're down at the Spring Training Showcase in Tampa, and they're playing a bunch of Division I and Division II teams. And fresh off the press, as an hour ago, Michigan Tech took down Division I Minnesota State Mankato 9-0. So
Michigan Tech did?
Yeah, this morning.
Okay.
So
wow,
big win for them.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
pretty crazy to see a Division III team beat a Division I team. So
yeah, guess that kind of tells you don't sleep on them.
Yeah, could be a sign of bigger things to come for them, which is good.
All right, and I assume we're the same boat in terms of D3 housekeeping items.
Yeah, just get your rosters and roster freeze back pocket.
All right, sounds good.
It's in there.
Well, let's move on. Eric, we appreciate your insight into all the NCBA club baseball updates, and we appreciate your time.
You bet.
And
we'll see you next month.
Good job.
That said, we'll move on to softball. Let's get into some NCSA action and kind of talk about what's been going on there. Do we have Savannah available for the show? There she is.
Hi.
Hi, Savannah. Welcome to Suite 301 again.
All right.
Coming to us live from the flyover state, I believe that's what they call it, right?
Flyover state?
That's what I had always heard Colorado called. But anyway, so we got Savannah Aarons, VP of Softball Operations here. Savs, take us through what's going on in the NCSA. You got anything exciting happen this past weekend?
Yeah, well, the past 2 weeks, we've had quite a bit going on. Clemson swept Tennessee, bringing them to 11-1. They are now atop the South Atlantic West Conference. Sacramento State had some interesting non-conference games against San Diego State and USC. They took 2 of those 3 games in non-conference. And NC State swept UNCW, bringing them to 11-1. So now they are atop the South Atlantic East. Still quite a few games to be played there. And then this past weekend, we had Grand Canyon sweep Cal State Fullerton, bringing them to 8-1, topping the Pacific South. And Kentucky sweeping Miami of Ohio, bringing them to 10-2, top of the Great American South. So big moves for these teams who are trying to solidify themselves a postseason run.
All right, good stuff. Now, how about this coming weekend? What do we got big on the slate? Give us Savannah's games to watch.
Games to watch. Our biggest, I believe, is probably number 7 versus Arkansas State versus number 11 Mizzou. That is going to determine the conference winner for the Mid-America East. So huge postseason, top 20 implications there. And then Sacramento State versus UC Merced, both of those teams still well in the mix for the postseason. And my third would be UNC Charlotte versus Kennesaw State. UNC Charlotte, who's only 2 games back from Clemson, who's number 1, like I talked about, South Atlantic West. UNC Charlotte needs all those wins to be able to make their postseason happen.
Okay, definitely some big games on the slate there for this coming weekend. All right.
What kind of playoff clinchers? Is there any teams that have clinched some spots in the postseason?
Yeah, so we've got Florida State, who I know we'll be talking to Mac and Beans here shortly for the South Atlantic South. University of Maine making their first ever postseason appearance in the New England East, and Niagara, New England West, and Iowa State in the Mid-America Central. So we've had those 4 teams already clinch their postseason bids. Super exciting to have it all happening so early this year.
And Niagara is a team that's been in the postseason in the last couple of years. Like, they've pretty much built that program up to be a perennial postseason team, right?
Yes, and I know they've got quite a few seniors on this squad, so it's kind of like you said, it's that team that they've built up since they were freshmen, working hard to get to that postseason, and then making it again this year is huge for them.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to them. And I'm sure every week there's going to be more and more teams clinching those postseason spots from here on out. So Best of luck to those teams moving forward. All right. Well, you mentioned Mac and Beans, who you made famous on this show last week or 2 weeks ago, talking about them. I had to go out and Google their Twitter page and look at their videos, and I think they're going to be joining us here on the show, and excited to have them on so we can learn more about Florida State. There they are, the famous Mac and Beans.
Mac and Beans.
Ladies, can you hear us? Uh-oh.
Oh, you may have to cut me off.
Uh-oh. Apparently I'm getting report is they
logged off.
They logged off apparently.
Mac and Beans, come on.
So hopefully Mac and Beans, if you're out there, log back in. We want to interview you. Let's jump to some softball housekeeping items there, Savannah. Anything big going on that teams need to know about, operationally?
Yeah, we've got the roster breeze coming up. That's probably our biggest piece is April 1st. So teams, please log on to the NCSA website. Go to the teams page and click your roster under your team name, and please make sure everybody's listed. April 1st is going to be when those rosters freeze, and if you're trying to add players after that, it's going to be a no-go.
All right.
Boom.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, you don't want to come back on April 2nd asking for to add someone to the roster for the playoffs. So definitely need to do that. All right. Do we have any sign of Mac and Beans?
M&B.
Oop, I see somebody's logged in.
Okay. They're trying to get back into the show.
Mac and Beans.
I see Mac is logged in.
Mac and Beans.
I hear them. There they are. Mac and Beans, we hear you.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Ladies, welcome to Suite 301. It's a pleasure to have you on the show with us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. We're so excited to be here. Really appreciate it.
Okay, which one's Mac? Raise your hand.
I'm Mac. Hi.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Beans.
All right, great. Well, hey, it seems like congratulations to Florida State softball, you and your girls for qualifying for the postseason. But talk to us about these videos that you've been putting up, these in-game interviews with your players. It seems like you two are the heart and soul of the energy of that Seminole roster. Uh-oh.
It's more technical difficulties.
More technical difficulties. Unfortunately, it sounds like they're breaking up.
Oh, no.
Oh, well. Well, Savannah, I guess it's...
That's sad. Mac and Beans is awesome. Mac and Beans, make us a video, and we'll post it to our page.
Well, explain what they do. For anybody that hasn't seen the videos, explain what they do.
I can hear them.
You just go back and...
There they are. Maybe you guys need to let me go so that they can talk.
All right, what? All right, we're going to move on. Well, actually, Savannah, in regards to Christian's question, can you give a little explanation of what Mac and Beans do and why they get everybody so excited about Florida State softball?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a tribute to the entire vibe of the Florida State softball team. I was texting with their president. They've just got a great vibe this season, and Mac and Beans is just one of those pieces that I think helped propel the overall team to the postseason. I mean, those games against Florida, the conference games, were literally one-run come from behind games. So those games take an entire team. Take that kind of vibe from Mac and Beans. Like they've got high energy. They're interviewing their players. They're giving shout-outs to people who made great plays during the game. You know, people that were having a good game, they're giving shout outs to. It's so important, I think, for that team vibe to be able to do well in the postseason. Not only to get to the postseason, but once you have a team that's so meshed well like that, they can. I just feel like a team like that is primed to make a run at the national championship. So I love watching their videos. I love having that kind of a positive vibe. You know, they lift everybody up on the team. I wish more and more teams would do that. So
absolutely, they got a strong social media game too. So, and that's gonna that's gonna carry over to next year when they're recruiting freshmen off campus to come play for them. It's like, look how much fun these girls are having. Yeah,
I'm like, I'll sign up.
Mac and Beans is a great name.
It is a great name, Mac and Beans. So unfortunately, their connection didn't seem that strong.
They're still logged in. I see them logged in. Maybe you guys cut me off and talk to them.
All right.
How about you do that?
All right, Sabs. Well, thanks very much. We appreciate your time. All right. So what's next for us?
I think a commercial break is in order.
I think a commercial break is in order. We'll be back in a few seconds.
The Game is the official headwear sponsor for Cold Club Sports. They offer our team's quality headwear, such as hats, visors, boonies, and beanies for a great low price. All items are customizable to meet our team's needs. Contact Felicia.Battaglia at coldclubsports.com for all of your headwear needs.
Rawlings is the official uniform, apparel, and equipment sponsor of the NCBA and NCSA. All member teams receive up to 45% off on all Rawlings orders. All uniforms and apparel options are fully customizable. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Justin Rickert at justin.rickert@coldclubsports.com or call at 412-321-8440, extension 111.
I can't hear. That's you. You're on the screen. Hey guys, am I on the screen? I can't hear anything right now.
Schedules except the South Atlantic Conference have been completed. They've been posted online. We're waiting on the South Atlantic just because 2 of those verbal commits are in that conference, and once we get that payment, we'll go ahead and proceed with scheduling that conference.
All right. Now, so you mentioned the new team Toledo, and then league meeting. The plan for the league meeting is to reschedule that once we get to that 24th team official?
Yes. We're hoping to conduct the league meeting as soon as possible after we get the 24. It just all depends on when we get that payment from team number 24, and I'm expecting to receive it here this week. So hopefully, by this time, at the end of this week, we can determine when we're going to go ahead and conduct the league meeting. It's going to be still on the online format for the first time, straight off the Facebook page, and I'm expecting a lot of participation this year, especially with the new teams coming on board. So we'll see how that goes. It should be pretty awesome, though.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Not a whole lot to talk about in the NCFA, but positive news nonetheless.
Very positive. Good job, Joe.
Excellent.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.
Excellent. So, all right, Joe. We'll appreciate your time on set and giving us the NCFA update. Next up, we're going to get into some women's basketball.
Okay.
I just want to be able to have this right.
Do we have – I can hear Alec.
Can he hear us?
Hello, you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you guys as well.
And we can see you as well.
Oh, that's not good. I feel sorry for anybody watching then.
Well, hey, Alec, we appreciate you taking time. You're obviously down at the Spring Training Showcase down in Tampa, helping Garrett out get the show running. But let's talk about some women's basketball. Alex, our director of women's basketball operations, can you give us a recap of what's gone on this past weekend?
Yeah, so some of the big things we had go on this past weekend. We had Stanford beat Chico twice. So Stanford, and beating them twice, Stanford ended up clinching the conference. They did already clinch a playoff spot, but that clinches them the number 1 seed in the regional tournament. So that's big for them. Still got Chico and San Jose State battling it out for that next spot, but Stanford is the 1 seed now. We do know that. We have Rutgers finished their season strong they took 2 from TC&J, so they jumped back up to 500. They were a couple games below, jumped back up, good finish to the season in a tough conference. So congrats to them on that. And another big one, Northwestern took 2 from Whitewater, and they as well got back up to 500. So another, good strong finish to the season for them. So that's basically all we really had going on this past weekend. As the season's winding down, the weekends have less games. So that's what we had from this past weekend to report on.
Okay. Well, how about this coming weekend? Give us a couple games to watch. We should be on the lookout for.
Yeah, huge game this weekend. We have Drexel going to Villanova. Very excited for that. Drexel basically needs to win 1 game to clinch a playoff spot. They need 2 wins to clinch the conference or clinch the 1 seed or to host. And if they lose 2, they don't make the playoffs and they're eliminated. And Rowan would actually take it because they hold the tiebreaker over them and they would finish with the same record. So it's a very big series. Sorry, go on.
Do these have implications on Villanova as well?
No, Villanova has clinched a spot. It is basically determining their seeding at this point.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
So we have that one this weekend. We also have Chico at San Jose State. That one's big because, like I said, they're both competing for that second spot in the regional tournament. And San Jose State basically needs to take 2 from them to have a chance. They basically need to win out, but it starts this weekend with these 2 against Chico. So big games for San Jose State and Chico both as well.
Right.
Then we also have Binghamton at St. Bonaventure. Binghamton needs 1 win to secure a spot in the regional tournament. So all they got to do, they just got to win 1. 2 games. Big games for them. And if they don't, it gets to a sticky situation. I can't remember exactly, but it'll kind of come down to them and Brockport, I believe.
Brockport.
So,
yep.
Yeah. So just got to take care of business at this point.
Yep. Binghamton controls their own destiny. That's one of my conferences. And they just can't. Got to keep the foot on the gas against St. Bonaventure, and they'll be in great shape.
Right.
And their reward would be they get to play at Cortland. We talked about having such a good year across all club sports. So, all right, let's dive into the top
Powerhouse.
15. Let's dive into the top 15 a little bit.
Yeah. Not too much of a shakeup. We had one team squeak in that wasn't ranked. I believe that was that SIUE, I believe.
Yep.
SIUE, they were unranked. They squeaked in. The rest of them were all in the top 20. There's some top 15, I'm sorry. There's kind of some shifting going around, but SIUE is really the big one that jumped in. Ohio State still unanimous number 1. Vermont jumped from 3 to 2 as they clinched the 1 seed in their conference. And we have a new top 15 coming out this week. So be on the lookout for that as well.
All right, sounds good. That'll be out Thursday, right?
That'll be out Thursday, yes.
All right. Well, how about clinching teams? Who's made the postseason since we last talked?
Yeah, we have a ton of them now. To read down the whole list, we go from Clemson, Penn State, Vermont, Ohio State, Villanova, Towson, Cortland, Stanford, Purdue, and SIUE. They've all clinched a spot. Some of the seeding is still yet to be determined, but all of those teams have clinched a spot in their regional tournament. So congratulations to all 9 of those teams.
Right. Towson, Purdue, and SIUE are the ones that clinched this weekend.
Yes, they're the new ones that clinched this weekend.
SIUE clinched without playing because Northwestern swept Wisconsin-Whitewater, which knocked them out of convention.
Helped them out a lot.
And put SIUE and locked them into a spot. So, yeah, the question out there in the Mid-America is who's going to finish 2, who's going to finish 1, and who's going to get the host between Purdue and SIUE.
Yep, and it all comes down to SIUE, right? Purdue is done playing conference games, I believe.
Right, Purdue's in. Yep, they're done. Whitewater or SIUE has a 2-game set at Whitewater in a couple weeks. If they win one of those games, they clinch first place and get to host the regional playoffs. So that's the goal for them.
Got to take care of business.
Got to take care of one. Control your own destiny. Yep. So
right.
All right. Well, hey, I think we are going to. You got all kinds of baseball action going on in the background.
Yeah, good background music. I like it.
I just saw a foul ball get hit, and it kind of scared me for a second, but I'm good.
Okay.
Don't worry about my health and safety. It's okay.
I think we're going to be joined by Drexel's president, Kyla McKim. Do we have her available to bring on the show? We are good. Let's invite Kyla over. There she is. Kyla, welcome to Suite 301.
Hi.
Hello. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations on a great season so far, but you've got the Drexel Villanova games this weekend are tops on Alex Games to watch. Huge series for you. Talk us through how your team is preparing for this weekend's games.
Yeah, so we found out just this past week that we're really up in the run playoffs, and I sent a message to the team saying we need and we're good to go for postseason. And one of them was responding in our group chat let's go, everyone's so ready to play. Just practicing hard up, ready to go, and we have our goals and we know what we have to do.
Yeah, and it's been a very interesting season for your team, given that you technically haven't lost a game yet. Unfortunately, your opening weekend of the series, you hadn't submitted a roster yet. You defeated your team. You defeated who was that? You defeated Rowan 2 games, but you didn't have a roster, so you got penalized for that. But you've come back strong and run the table thus far. Now you've got a chance. You win 1 against Villanova, you're in. You win 2, your conference tops in the conference. Get the host playoffs at your own court. That's great because a lot of teams, with a setback like that, would throw in the towel. They'd hang their head. But your girls rallied and really just proved to the world, hey, we are a good basketball team and don't mess with us. So you've kind of flown under the radar. What do you say to those viewers out there that haven't given you love in the polls that maybe Drexel should be ranked?
I would say we're a relatively good-sized team. To us, we haven't lost a game, so that's a streak that we have in our minds for their season undefeated, even though we're on the forfeit. But we're a group of winners coming to keep earning our spot where we feel like we should be, because Drexel's pretty anyway, in just the overall collegiate in that show that we deserve a place too.
All right, well, great. Congratulations to you and the Lady Dragons on a great season. We hope to talk to you in a few weeks, maybe about your success in the postseason. But good luck this weekend against Villanova.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, so that's Kyla McKim.
It's an impressive story. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh yeah, they've done, and you've experienced it.
Oh, yeah.
In all our sports, someone screws up a little bit of paperwork early in the year, and they just they bag it.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They said, let's prove that we deserve to be here, and they really have. So I wish them the best against Villanova. Nothing against Villanova, but we'll see how they do. Okay. Do we still have Alec around, or is he gone?
I'm still here.
All right. Good stuff, Alec. Hey, Alec, talk to us through the last little bit of women's basketball. Is there any housekeeping items that teams need to be worried about right now as the season sort of winds down?
Pretty soon, we'll probably start sending out All-American ballots. So make sure to have stats uploaded for that, so we know who's the most deserving for the All-American status. So really just stats. Get the stats put in, and once we send those All-American ballots out, get those filled out and sent back to us.
Okay, sounds good. Well, don't go too far away. I think we're going to bring you back on and see if you can't track Garrett down. We might want to talk to him in a little bit. But
all right, sounds good.
All right, Christian, let's move on to some men's basketball. And
good stuff.
Why don't you talk to me about your weekend in a review?
Yeah, we had a lot of big games. There wasn't a ton of games, but a lot of them this year. Coming into the stretch of the season, there's a lot of big games happening. We saw the Harvard Classic sweep Brown to stay in the New England East race. I think they're currently sitting third with Boston College and Northeastern still up at the top. But both those teams, Northeastern and Boston College, play other teams, so a lot can still happen, and that was a big sweep for the Harvard Classics to kind of stay in that mix. Purdue took 2 out of 3 from IUPUI this past weekend, which actually clinched them the runner-up spot in the Great Lakes South. So it was, kind of heartbreaking for IUPUI.
IUPUI took 2 or 3 from Indiana.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago.
So I believe both Purdue and IUPUI finished the season 14-4, but with the tiebreakers of head-to-head, Purdue finishes the season second in the second place spot. So, certainly heartbreaking for IUPUI, especially because they are hosting the regional tournament. Their school is. But, it was a great year, and that conference was really tight up until this last weekend. And unfortunately for IUPUI, they were only able to squeak out 1 win, with Purdue taking the other 2 and clinching them their spot in the postseason. Albany also took 2 of 3 from RPI, and it was funny. I told Noah Sellers, the president of Albany, reached out to me and was like, "What do I need to do? How do we have to qualify? We can make a run. I know we can." And I basically said the only way you have to take 2 out of 3 from RPI, or sweep them, but at least take 2 of 3 from RPI to even be in consideration for it. And it's in RPI's hands. Their destiny's in their own hands. But if they get swept by Binghamton, the A team, which is a really good team, Albany takes that second spot. So them getting 2 of 3 wins was huge for them. They're still in the mix. They're not out of it yet. Had they only taken 1 of 3, they would have been done. But Noah over there's really chomping at the bit to get in. He wants to get in. They're sitting in the clubhouse and going to be watching that RPI Binghamton series really closely. So we'll see what happens. Lots.
And this is one of the great things I think about this new format, where the second place team up there gets in.
Yeah.
It's not an at-large bid. It's second place team up there gets in, and the C team's fighting for second place. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Very well said. And then also another big series, Delaware took 2 of 3 from Towson in a huge matchup in the Mid-Atlantic South.
Two impressive teams at the fall tip-off, both of them.
Yes, both teams very, very good. And you also have Navy in the mix in the Mid-Atlantic North. And it's those 3 are all fighting for spots. It's still up for grabs. First and second place is still up for grabs. But, 2 big wins for Delaware. I know they have 6 games left. They have this weekend and next weekend to play. And I forget off the top of my head who they have. But I know their last series is against Navy, who currently is at top of the standings. So it's going to come down to the last week of the regular season, and probably first and second place is going to be determined not until March 22nd. So that was a big win for Delaware, big series win. And then last but not least, Cortland swept Union in the New England West Conference, and that clinched them the New England West. So we were talking about Cortland earlier. I'm assuming they're doing good things on the women's side. It seems like they're doing great things in the D2 side of the baseball side of things. So, Cortland clinches a spot in the postseason. They win the West Conference. So kudos to them. Well done.
All right. Well, how about this coming weekend? What are our games to watch this weekend?
Yes, we got a big one, and we talked about Delaware taking 2 of 3 from Towson this past weekend. They are currently number 12 in the country. They're taking on Coppin State. And, again, this is just keeping them in the mix. Delaware has to stay atop. I think they're 11-1 right now, tied with Navy. So, taking care of business at Coppin State is definitely a big thing for them. Drew at St. John's, not a glamorous big game to watch, but St. John's needs to take care of business against Drew, who's near the bottom of the standings, to stay atop the North Atlantic. I forget which conference, but St. John's has 6 games left, and this will be a big one for them. And then Michigan at Flint, another big game. And Michigan, it's bigger for Michigan in the sense that they need to take care of business against Flint because there's a huge matchup on the horizon against Ohio State. Ohio State's at 12-0. The conference is still up for grabs. I think everybody's kind of assuming Ohio State's won that conference, but it's not. If Michigan wins out, they win that conference. Obviously, that's a lot easier said than done against Ohio State, but obviously the first step is taking care of business against Flint. So several big games coming up, and then I know week 21, the last weekend of the regular season, is a lot of big games too. So it's coming down to the finish.
All right. Well, let's talk about the latest top 20 poll. This came out last week, I believe, right?
Yes, came out Thursday. Yep.
We got to do number 1.
Yeah, it was. I know you emailed me back just with the words "wow," and it was shocking. I think I don't want to get into the minds of all the voters, but I think Ohio State, who's 12-0, and has been the number 1 team the last, I think, 4 or 5 polls. They had 2 weeks off. They had their spring break. They had 2 weeks off. Then they came back. They won the series against whoever they were playing. But UMass Lowell's in the clubhouse now. They're 18-0, and I think that kind of stood out to the voters and the reason why they may have bumped UMass Lowell into that top spot. But yeah, that's huge news, and we're going to have Stephen Goggin from their team talking to us in a little bit about that. But yeah, that's awesome for the program to make that jump, especially this close to the end of the year. But yeah, UMass Lowell takes the top spot. Ohio State, University of Notre Dame, Missouri, and Naval Academy rounding out the top 5. And then we had Auburn University, who's a new program to the NCBBA, as well as I believe IUPUI, jump into the top 20. But we'll have the next one coming out a week from Thursday.
And very impressive with Notre Dame climbing up that high, number 3, first-year team in our organization. Steadily.
Yeah.
They didn't come in, walk in the door, and be a top 5 team. They had to earn their way and prove it on the court. It's good to see them getting that respect. So congratulations to the Fighting Irish there. But we're getting to postseason time, and that's going to be the survival of the fittest across the board.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about clinchers. Do we got some new teams that clinched this playoff spots this weekend?
Yeah, and I'll say right off the bat, all the teams that have clinched or are currently in are on the regional page. But yeah, you can see all the postseason clinchers here. I believe I want to say it's 36 teams are making the postseason in total. But yeah, you see all the teams. I believe in highlighted in yellow are the new teams from our last show. But Penn State, SIUE White, Auburn, and Stanford, as well as Notre Dame, Maryland, South Carolina, and Arizona State have all clinched since our last show. So I don't know exactly how many we have there. 2, 4, 6, 7. Looks like 15 teams clinched. So still over half the spots still available, but certainly exciting stuff.
All right, and let's move on. Let's get our guest, Steve Goggin from UMass Lowell. Let's bring him on the show. The new number 1 team in the country. There he is, Steven. How you doing? Welcome to Suite 301.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Oh, we're doing great.
Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, good to have you on. You got a good, clear connection, too. We love that.
Not bad.
So UMass Lowell, number 1 in the country. How's that feel?
Yeah, that feels good. We thought we got snubbed a couple times, but, East Coast teams, what are you going to do? So we played with a chip on our shoulder for a few weeks. We think we have some good momentum right into the postseason. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so you guys, it was big. And you guys were very tight with Ohio State for that top spot. And then, like I was telling Sandy, I really believe seeing that 18-0 really sent a message to the voters. But I was looking at your regular season schedule, and I don't want to say you were untested all year because that's certainly not the case. There were some close games that you had to play. But heading into regionals and you guys not playing for the next couple weeks, How are you guys preparing? Because you're going to be obviously seeing a lot of very good talented teams at the regional. So how are you guys preparing?
Yeah, so we had a couple weeks off. We have spring break this week, and once we get back, we're right back into it. We do have some great leadership. We got 3 previous NCBBA All-Stars that, have been there, have been to the big dance a couple times. Augustus Fasumbu, David Kazadi, Kennedy Asari, all great leaders in the clubhouse, in the locker room, showing those new guys that you can't really take weeks off. You got to be disciplined. The team that has the most discipline usually ends up winning the whole thing. So nothing set in stone. We still have to go out to regionals and take care of business.
And you guys are going out to Berkshire Community College for the New England regional. I know Yale has clinched, and off the top of my head, I can't remember the other team that has clinched. But I mean, what is the mindset? I know you got great leadership, and you guys are reading off those names. I'm very familiar with announcing them at the national championship tournament. So you definitely have some great leaders in that clubhouse. But do you have any game plans set in stone as far as who you might match up against and what you need to do?
Not to a point. We kind of run our same sets and run our game plan according to how we want to set the tempo and take care of business. Depending on who we get matched up against may determine what kind of lineups you see. We can go small ball, we can go big as well. So it kind of depends, but we do like to go up and down at a fast pace and push the pace in transition. So we'll see who else clinches and kind of how the seeding sets up. This is the first year that there's been 8 teams at regionals, so we got to win an extra game now. So it's going to take a little bit more.
It's certainly going to be tough. Yeah, that's for sure.
Now, Stephen, let me ask you this question. You look at our last 3 national champions in East Carolina, Ohio State, Purdue. But UMass Lowell, a team that it's not a household name. UMass is a household name. UMass Lowell is not a household name. Yet you are a team that has been to, I believe, every national championship, or at least maybe 5 in a row. What do you attribute to so much consistent success out of your program?
We just try to put the university and put UMass Lowell on the map. Especially last year, we lost to East Carolina by, I think it was 2 or 3. It was a close game. We had some foul trouble down the stretch. But in terms of, being to consecutive national championships, we're pretty disciplined at practice. Obviously being a student comes first, but being an athlete is a big part of a lot of these kids' lives. So they take it seriously. We're not joking around. We know that, we play some real competitive teams when we get to that national championship. A lot of those kids could probably play D2, maybe D1 at certain other schools if they weren't at the school they were at. So there's some high quality athletes in this league. So we try to just keep up with the rest of the pack.
All right. Well, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, fantastic.
And really, one of the other things I attribute, like with turnover in leadership, student presidents and things like that, it's hard for teams to maintain that high level for that much consistency. You guys are doing something right over there. So congratulations to your athletes, to your coaching staff, and to your officers as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, best of luck the rest of the way, and best of luck in the postseason, and maybe we'll see you in
All right.
South Bend
Thanks,
again.
guys.
Thanks, Stephen.
All right.
Appreciate
All right.
it.
Hopefully we'll see you in Indiana. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
All right. So do we want to is Alex still around? We have the ability to get Alec back on the show. Well, there's Garrett. That's not Alec. He's not going to give us any help.
Hey, guys.
Hi. We're not who you wanted to talk to, so we'll talk to you in a little bit. All right. But we're going to talk.
Do you want me to get Alec on for you?
No, we'll move on our own. Stay tuned. So we were hoping to get Alec on to talk about new teams in the Division I, and we have added a couple new teams to Division I or to men's basketball.
Yes, Appalachian State and then American University.
American University was the new one out of D.C.
Yes.
That's our newest member. Excited to have them on board.
Yes.
It's an area where we're kind of hoping we can grow a little bit and split.
Yep.
So there's a few other teams down there to target. Hopefully this offseason we'll be adding some more, but American's got a new revamped program. I believe they've got a new revamped club sports department too. Seems like a lot more energy coming out of that department with some of their other club sports coming on board as well. So excited to have American on board. So how about men's basketball housekeeping items? Do you got?
Yeah. Biggest thing is continually to follow along with the regional and national championship websites. Everything is up to date as far as now. So making sure you're staying up to date on that stuff. Get stats posted. I know we'll be also sending out some All-American sheets for you guys to fill out, and if you want to get recognized, you have to have your stats up. So make sure your stats are posted and they're accurate. And then last, just follow the social media accounts because we'll be posting a lot of stuff on there too.
Okay, good stuff. Well, let's see if we can get. I heard a rumor that Mac and Beans are back with a good connection. Is that true? Do we have them available? Oh, we do.
Mac
so we're going to finally, we want to meet these Mac and Beans ladies. Yeah. Ladies, you there?
Yeah, we're here. Hi.
I did a wardrobe. I noticed that. Oh my, you're so much clearer now. I guess. Are you on Wi-Fi now?
Awesome. We hotspotted.
Right. Well, it's working great. So, ladies, so great to finally meet you. As we tried to talk about you behind your back, you seem to be the heart and soul of Florida State's club softball team, who's having a great season. What has motivated you two to bring your energy to social media and to just get everybody excited on your team?
Yeah, well, you know what? We've always been super active on Twitter. Someone's always live tweeting the games every at bat, and we just like to have fun with it. And just one day, Mac and I happened to stay in the bench together, and we were like, let's do something different.
I was on the Twitter, and she was running music, and we're like, wait, this is kind of good. And then we started it.
And it just happened. It really started as just a thing for the parents, just for something different and just to do something funny, and it kind of just blew up from there.
Shout outs, and we have a lot of girls who are out of state, so their parents were like, oh, Rick loved this. So we shout out parents and let them see their daughters.
Yeah.
Well, you're obviously becoming fan favorites. What do for other teams out there that you're now going to be NCSA famous? How do other people follow your videos? They need to follow you on Twitter. Is there a Facebook they should log on to?
It's just our we post them on our Twitter page, which is FSU Club Softball, I believe. FSU Club Softball. Yeah, and honestly, we just post everything on there. It's not in a special section. I think we just really do it throughout the game.
Yeah.
But we did promise that we do a one-two series for the rest of the semester. But since we're done and we've clinched the postseason, we decided to do it a little road to regionals.
So every week we'll get footage at practice and stuff we're doing and upload it and just follow our journey to Clemson.
Yeah.
Now, a little backstory on you two. Are you roommates?
We are actually not. I'm a senior. This is my last year.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore, so I don't know. It's just
yeah, she plays shortstop, I play thirds. We've always been friends, but it really just happened to be that we're super much together one day.
Yeah, so now it's a running joke. Our president won't play us at the same time. So,
but whenever we play together, we get too excited.
Yeah, and then our president's like, "Oh man, what did I do?" So
now, Mac, your nickname makes sense. Beans.
You stole my question.
Where's Beans coming from?
I always get that question. So, my sophomore year on the team, my first year, a couple of the seniors were like, "Well, let's decide to mess with someone today. What should we do?" They saw me, they're like, "Christina, let's mess with her." And they just started calling me everything besides my name. So Jalapena, Bina, all that kind of stuff. So then Bina really stuck, and Beans kind of came from that. It's a whole origin story thing.
Hey, the evolution of a nickname. I love it.
Here we are.
So you guys are the heart and soul of the energy of the team. Who's the heart and soul of the talent? Is it you as well, or do you guys have some superstars on that team that we need to be looking out for?
I wouldn't say we're the heart and soul.
Everyone contributes.
I think it's top to bottom. Yeah. Honestly, I really couldn't pick out anyone in particular for you. Our lineup has just been solid. It's so 19. Yeah. I think we could put anyone out on the field and we would definitely win the game. I know that we try to do that as much as we can throughout any series. But big hitters like my sister, Alyssa, the president, had a grand slam. That was a game changer against UF. Of course, Priotello, always constant. Abby Hayes.
Perry,
Pat Keeling.
It's just no matter what grade you can put them in and they can get a clutch hit. It doesn't matter, and it's really cool.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have a lot of talented girls. We have 6 seniors this year, and we're in it to win it. We all have the heart for it, and we're here to fun.
All right, good stuff. Well, best of luck to you and the rest of the Seminole ladies on your quest to get to the World Series. If you do make it there, Savannah's going to make sure you have a great time in Columbus, Georgia, and we appreciate it. I'm going to tip my hat to you. the consistency and the patience you two put in to get your internet working better and get back on the show. That's great. So we're glad we were able to get connected with you.
Yeah, really. What can we do now?
Thank you guys for sticking with us too.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Mac and beans.
Bye. Mac and beans. All right.
Like it.
Well, given that notice, let's see if we can't get Garrett on and finally get that spring training update we've been looking for so long. Garrett, are you there? There he is.
Hey guys, how you doing?
You look good in pink, man.
Good. You were scheduled to be our first. You were supposed to be our first segment. You're going to be our last today.
Hey, save the best for last.
All right. How are things going down there in Tampa?
Things are going great. Got games going on 4 fields right now. Lots of good games, lots of great defense and pitching we've seen so far. And most importantly, the guys are having a great time. So,
absolutely.
Lots of sun as well.
Weather's been good?
Yeah, nothing but clear skies and sunshine. It's been about 85 every day so far. So, can't complain too much down here.
And this is the busy week, right? You got with 4 fields going on.
Yeah, we got 4 fields running right now, all with games on them. Ohio State and Illinois State actually just finished. The last time I was over there, it was 6-5, but it looks like Ohio State just finished the game. They got the win, but it was a great game to watch from what I could see from over here. But yeah, everything's gone well.
All
Good stuff, man.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Any notable anybody who's been the best team in your opinion you've seen play so far?
Florida played really well. They have a stud pitcher that they had throw against Ohio State. He went 5 innings. Only batter that reached base was a hit by pitch. Had 11 strikeouts on 69 pitches.
Ooh.
And
it's a nice tidy outing.
And for some reason, they took him out after 5 when he had that no going, but he just dominated, kept OSU off balance. That was probably one of the better performances I've seen pitching-wise. Bubby and Tom watched a game over at MLK between Vermont and Ohio. Through I believe it was 5.5 innings. One pitcher had a no-hitter. One pitcher had a perfect game. So there's been a lot of good pitching out here. Then on the flip side, I think I've probably seen about 7 home runs hit so far this tournament, which is, for this early on, is kind of shocking because usually the ball doesn't start carrying till the end. I think Penn State has hit 4 today alone with their D1 team. Robert Morris put a couple out at the beginning, and then a couple other teams been scattering home runs in here and there.
Good stuff.
When's the Illinois UCF game?
That, I believe, is on Sunday.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not sure about the time, but, yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. I know a bunch of the teams around here have been talking about it because they even saw it. Like the Florida-Ohio State game, which I believe was number 8 versus number 13, we had pretty much full bleachers on each side from combination of fans here and from other teams. Just everyone wanted to be a part of it. Everyone wanted to watch, and it was a great atmosphere to be a part of.
Nice.
Outstanding.
Good stuff, man.
All right. Well, it's good. We'll probably talk to you again in 2 weeks, and we'll see if your tan has changed in that time.
Yeah, it might be a little tan, might be a little red as well. Not really sure, but we'll see how much sunscreen gets applied.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging with us. Glad to have you on and be able to get caught up from Tampa, Florida.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
Later,
one.
Garrett.
All right. Thanks, Garrett. All right. Well, that's going to be our show for this month. Thanks for tuning into this interesting episode of Suite 301. But we did get all our callers in. So excited about that. As always, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
The next episode will be Tuesday, March 24th at 3:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook Live. Join us to catch up on everything that's happening around Call Club Sports.
Hey, and don't forget,
it's a game.
Have fun.